Welcome to r/Payback. My name is Emma, and I'm 27 years old. My sister Lily is 24. We have always been extremely close, almost inseparable. Losing our parents when we were teenagers brought us even closer. After the tragic accident that took their lives, Lily and I relied on each other like never before. Without Mom and Dad, we became each other's family. We shared everything, from our dreams to our fears, and promised to always be there for one another no matter what. Recently, Lily shocked me with unexpected news. She was pregnant. Neither of us had planned it. I saw the mixture of fear and excitement in her eyes when she told me. For me, though, I immediately felt joy and a sense of hope. This baby could bring light into our lives after all the darkness. I promised her I would be by her side throughout the entire journey. Having no parents around, we depended on each other for support, and now this tiny new life was going to be the next chapter for us. I felt honored that Lily trusted me enough to share this with her, and I was determined to give the baby all the love and care I could, even before it was born. The thought of helping my sister bring this child into the world filled me with purpose. I imagined what it would be like to hold the baby, to watch it grow, and to finally have a new family connection to hold on to. Right from the start, I threw myself into helping Lily with her pregnancy. I went with her to every doctor's appointment, taking notes, asking questions, and making sure she got the best care possible. We spent hours preparing the nursery together. We painted the walls soft blue, picked out tiny clothes, and set up a crib with a mobile hanging overhead. The room began to feel like a cozy, safe place ready to welcome the baby. During those quiet evenings, I'd sit next to Lily, listening to her talk to her belly, rubbing it gently while telling the baby stories about us and the world it was about to enter. I felt a bond with that unborn child, almost as if the baby had already become a part of my heart. It was strange and wonderful to love someone I hadn't yet met. I found myself daydreaming about the baby's first smile, the tiny fingers and toes, and the laughter that would soon fill our lives. This growing anticipation filled me with joy, but also a strong sense of responsibility. I wanted to protect this baby and support my sister no matter what came next. The excitement deepened my connection to both of them in a way I hadn't expected. But after the baby was born, things began to change. Lily struggled silently with postpartum depression. At first, she tried to hide it, but her exhaustion and sadness were hard to miss. There were days when she looked lost, unable to care for the baby or even herself. She would sit quietly, her eyes distant, overwhelmed by what felt like an impossible weight. I could see her pulling away from me and from the baby. Sometimes she ignored my calls or messages for hours, or even days. She seemed afraid or unsure about motherhood, which broke my heart. I tried to be patient, hoping she would open up, but each day that passed felt like a little more distance growing between us. Watching my sister struggle was emotionally exhausting. I wanted to help her so badly, but sometimes it felt like I was reaching out into a void. The baby needed care, but Lily's uncertainty left a gap in parenting that no one else could fill. I found myself stepping in more and more, feeding, changing diapers, calming cries. It was hard to accept that the sister who had always been so strong was now overwhelmed and sometimes unreachable. I worried about her, but I also worried about the baby growing up without a steady mother. The emotional turmoil I felt was intense, but I kept telling myself to stay strong, for Lily and for the little life that depended on us. As the weeks turned into months, I found myself stepping deeper into the role of caregiver. Lily's struggles didn't improve as quickly as I'd hoped, and I realized she wasn't able to be consistent with the baby's needs. Many days, I was the one waking up multiple times at night to soothe the baby's cries, changing diapers, preparing bottles, and even helping with bath time. I tried to encourage Lily to join me, but often she seemed too tired or emotionally distant to engage fully. I didn't want to feel like I was replacing her, but it became harder to ignore the fact that I was becoming the primary person the baby depended on. It wasn't something I planned or expected, but my heart naturally took over. I loved that little life fiercely, and I couldn't bear to see him go without the care and attention he deserved. Lily's parenting was inconsistent. Some days she was present and loving, but on others she would retreat into herself, unable to connect. The contrast was painful to witness. I wanted to be patient and supportive, but inside, a growing fear began to take root. What if Lily couldn't be the mother this baby needed? This fear slowly turned into a quiet certainty. I felt responsible, not just emotionally, but practically. I was the one providing stability, love, and safety. The baby was becoming a piece of my own family in a way I hadn't anticipated. It was a confusing mix of joy, worry, and heartbreak as I navigated this uncharted path of caregiving that felt like it was becoming mine. One evening, after another exhausting day of caring for the baby almost alone, I finally voiced the thought that had been growing inside me. I suggested to Lily that maybe it would be best if my husband and I adopted her son. I didn't say it lightly. I wrestled with how to bring it up, but the worry for the baby's future pushed me to speak out. Lily's reaction shocked me. She was angry, defensive, and hurt. She denied that she couldn't care for her son and accused me of trying to take him away. The tension between us was thick and painful. She felt betrayed, like I was giving up on her and her baby. I tried to explain that my offer came from love, from a place where I only wanted the best for the child, but she wouldn't hear it. The conversation spiraled into conflict, both of us saying things we didn't mean, fueled by pain and exhaustion. I saw tears in her eyes, but also a hard wall of denial. I knew she was struggling deeply, but this was too much for her to accept. That night, I lay awake thinking about how fragile our relationship had become and how much the baby needed a safe, stable home. I was torn between wanting to respect my sister's rights and needing to protect the child from an unstable environment. The suggestion of adoption changed everything. It made our already complicated situation even more painful and confusing. When I shared the situation with other family members, it quickly became clear that not everyone agreed with me. Some relatives supported my concern for the baby's well-being, recognizing Lily's struggles and encouraging me to keep offering help. Others sided with Lily, insisting that motherhood was her right and that I was overstepping boundaries. Family meetings grew tense. Arguments erupted, with sides forming sharply. Some cousins and aunts believed the baby belonged with his mother no matter what, while others quietly agreed with me that the child deserved a stable environment, even if it wasn't with Lily. These divisions fractured the family's unity, making every gathering uncomfortable and charged with emotion. Despite the pain, I knew I had to keep pushing for what I believed was best for the baby. But the more I fought, the more complicated things became. I felt the weight of everyone's judgment, torn between being the caring aunt and being seen as the one trying to take a child from his mother. The family's reaction added another layer of stress and sadness, leaving me unsure if we could ever find peace or if this conflict would permanently break us apart. The day my sister disappeared is etched painfully in my memory. It was a cold morning when I woke up to find her gone. No note, no message, just an empty house and a baby left behind. The baby was asleep in his crib, but there was no sign of Lily anywhere. My heart dropped. I called her phone repeatedly, but it went straight to voicemail. Panic set in quickly. I checked with neighbors and friends, but no one had seen her leave. Hours passed, and as night fell, my fear grew unbearable. The baby needed care, He couldn't be left alone. I felt helpless, scared for his safety, and desperate for guidance. After what felt like an eternity, I knew I had no choice but to contact Child Protective Services. Making that call was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I explained the situation, the baby left without a guardian, and my sister's history of struggles. CPS promised to intervene, but the process was slow and heart-wrenching. The baby was placed temporarily in my care, but the legal questions started flooding in. Was this abandonment? Would Lily lose her rights? Would I be seen as the villain for calling CPS? The family was thrown into chaos. Some were furious at me, accusing me of betraying Lily. Others were relieved that someone stepped up for the baby. The legal system took over, and I had to prepare for custody hearings and evaluations, all while trying to care for the baby and navigate my sister's absence. Emotionally, it was devastating. I was overwhelmed with guilt and responsibility, but I knew I couldn't ignore the baby's needs. The uncertainty of what would happen next hung over us like a storm cloud, and our family, already fragile, seemed to be fracturing beyond repair. When my sister finally came back, the tension between us was immediate and intense. I had hoped for a calm conversation, but it quickly turned into a heated confrontation. She looked at me with a mixture of hurt and anger that cut deep. "How could you do this to me?" she demanded. "You betrayed me. Your own sister. You called CPS on me, and now you're trying to take my baby away." Her words stung, but I tried to stay calm. "I didn't want to involve CPS, but you left your son alone. I was scared for his safety. I love him just as much as you do, but I had to act." She shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "You don't get to decide what's best for my child. You took everything from me." Our family gatherings became battlegrounds. Relatives took sides. Some defended my sister's right to parent. Others understood my fears for the baby's well-being. Conversations turned into arguments, and the warmth we once shared seemed to fade. In private, my sister accused me of trying to steal her family, while I felt like I was fighting to save it. I wondered if we could ever repair the damage. Was the love between us strong enough to overcome this betrayal? Or had the fractures become too deep? Each confrontation left me emotionally drained, questioning if the family could heal or if it was already falling apart. Late at night, when the house was quiet, my thoughts spiraled. Was I really doing the right thing, or was I overstepping my bounds? I love that baby more than anything, but he is my sister's son. Did I have the right to fight so hard for custody, even if it meant tearing our family apart? I struggled to balance my feelings, the deep protectiveness I had for the child and the respect I owed my sister as his mother. I wanted to shield him from instability, but I also wanted to honor my sister's rights and her place in his life. Part of me admitted there was a selfish side too. After years of loss and uncertainty, I longed for family stability, for a sense of control in this chaotic situation. But that didn't mean my love wasn't genuine. I was caught in a painful conflict between wanting to protect the baby and fearing the consequences of my actions on my sister and the family. I questioned if there was a better way, some path that could support both my nephew's well-being and my sister's healing. Yet, with every step forward, I felt more trapped in a web of love, fear, and doubt. Could I find peace in this turmoil? Or was I destined to keep wrestling with my conscience and my family's fractured future? Right now, things between my sister and me are strained beyond what I ever imagined. Our relationship, once close and loving, feels fragile, like it could shatter with the slightest wrong word or action. The family is divided, with people taking sides and tensions running high. The future feels uncertain, not just for me and my sister, but most importantly for my nephew. He deserves love and stability, but it's unclear where he will find it. I'm left wondering what comes next. Will my sister be able to get the help she needs to recover and care for her child properly? Or will her struggles continue, putting him at risk? On the other hand, will I be able to fight for custody without completely breaking my family apart? I want what's best for my nephew, but I don't want to lose my sister or myself in the process. I turn to you, readers, for insight. Am I in the wrong for stepping in so forcefully? Should I have respected my sister's boundaries, even if it meant risking the baby's well-being? How do you balance protecting a child with respecting a parent's rights, especially when that parent is family? Have any of you faced similar situations where love and responsibility collide? How did you navigate the pain and uncertainty? As I write this, I realize there are no easy answers. The path forward is filled with difficult choices, and each one carries weighty consequences. I'm caught between hope and fear, love and conflict. So here I stand, at a crossroads. Will I keep fighting to provide my nephew with a safe and stable home? Or will I step back and hope my sister finds the strength to heal and care for him herself? The story isn't over yet, and the future remains unwritten. I welcome your thoughts and advice because right now I need all the guidance I can get. That wraps up today's episode of r/Payback. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to subscribe for more epic stories.